Hi, my name is Nana and welcome to my channel, A Puzzling Lamb. In this video, I will be reviewing the brand Reverie Puzzles, but this review is a little bit different from other reviews I've made because I have actually tried a Reverie puzzle and I had a really bad experience. I really didn't like it. So what I want in this video is to try again and see if I was just unlucky with the first one and if this brand really is a great brand. Now, the thing I really didn't like, so the overall quality, as I remember, was actually really great. But it was all overshadowed by one fact, and that was that there were a really huge color difference between the box and the actual pieces. So I'll put up an image of the puzzle. I don't have it anymore. I bought this puzzle because I really fell in love with the colors. These gorgeous, vibrant green colors. Really loved it. And then when I started doing it, first of all, there was a big difference between the colors on the box and then on the poster. And then an even bigger difference to the pieces. So instead of these lovely, vibrant green colors, they were just really dark and really dull. And it just really affected my enjoyment of the puzzle. As I said, it overshadowed everything else. It was a little bit weird. Some places there weren't really any color difference, and other places it was huge. I'll have some pictures up here, and it was especially with the green colors. But the thing is, I've heard amazing things about Reverie Puzzles, and I've never heard anyone talk about there being color differences like this. So I kind of just assumed that I got a dot, that it was an issue with that image or just with my specific puzzle. But as I said in this video, I'm going to try again. I'm going to see if it really just was a dot or if it is a general issue with this brand. So just quickly about the brand. It's an Australian brand, and I think all of the images, or at least most of the images, have some kind of book theme. So you can see with that other puzzle I did, she was reading a book. There are always some kind of book element, or it's an illustration based on a book. So yeah, I really love that they have a theme like that. I think that's really unique. So yeah, let's take a look at the puzzles I do have in my collection. So I have this one, Butterfly Lovers. Again, beautiful colors in this one. I did get this puzzle in a surprise box, so I didn't pick out this image specifically, but I really do love it. I think this one might be an image from a book, but yeah, I really haven't looked too much into this specific puzzle because the one I am reviewing in this video is this one. As you can see, this is also one who's with a woman reading a book, and there are some books, few different places on the image. You can see it here, Adventures in the Wilderness. Now this puzzle I did buy secondhand, so another way this review differs a little bit from my other reviews is that I am actually reviewing a secondhand puzzle. But I just really wanted to do this image more than the other one. And I also thought it would be, a great way to see how the quality holds up after, at least a few tries. I don't know how many times this has been put together, but it's been put together at least once before me. So let me put this puzzle together. Let's see how it is. Let's see if there are any color differences. And then I'll come back with my final thoughts, where I will also show you what other kinds of puzzles images they have, and of course talk about the pricing and everything. But let's jump into the review. So my first impression of the box is that it's very sturdy and it's a really nice size. Now on the front you have an image of the entire image. It is a little bit small compared to the box. I do love when the image fills out the entire box, so you get as big of an image as you possibly can, but there's nothing covering the image. And I do know that it comes with a poster, so I'm really not mad about it. It's also just a really beautiful design. You have Reverie Puzzles up here, the name of the puzzle, Adventures in the Wilderness, 1000-piece jigsaw puzzle. So a really lovely design here. Also just love these colors, this sandy beige, I don't know what you call it, and then goldish color here. Really think it's beautiful. On the sides here, you have the Reverie logo, again the name of the puzzle, then you have the size of the finished puzzle, 50 centimeters times 70 centimeters. So very, very standard for a 1000-piece puzzle. 1000 pieces in different languages, I think. And a small image here of the image. I am interested to see that if this little like image of a puzzle piece, if that is the size of the pieces, if that's to show the size of the pieces, but we'll see. And then it's just the same thing, I think, all the way around. Yes. Then on the back here, the first sign that this is a second-hand puzzle, someone did write their name on this. I don't know if I could get it off. So yeah, that's what it is. Then again, you have the logo here, some normal, company information, stuff like that, made in China. Also, interestingly, a tiny little image here of the puzzle. Then there's some information about Reverie and some information about the artist. You can pause if you want to read, including the Instagram and website. I really love this. I think I've talked about it before, that just with the name of an artist, it can actually sometimes be difficult to find them, for example, on Instagram. Here it's really easy with the Instagram and the website. Now, if we open up the box, you see here that the pieces is in a plastic bag, but this is because it's a second-hand puzzle. If we look at this, the other Reverie puzzle I have, that is a new puzzle. So also, obviously there was no plastic wrap on this one. I really can't remember whether this was in plastic wrap. I mentioned before, I always remove any plastic wrap when I get a puzzle because I don't like the way it looks on my shelf. It does mean I often forget whether there were plastic wrap on a puzzle. There are no stickers or anything, so yeah, honestly, I can't remember. But here also you can just see that the design on this one is exactly the same. Obviously, this is, in portrait mode. Actually, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but the boxes are not exactly the same color. This is slightly darker. And perhaps this goldish color on this one is slightly darker on this, but it's a tiny, tiny difference. I don't know if you can tell on camera. And again, this one is the same all around the edge as the other one. But if I open up this, you can see that originally these pieces did come in a fabric bag, a really, really nice quality fabric bag. And then let's see. Yeah, and then just the pieces in here. Now, I will say that I don't know if it's the bag that's, I don't know, because it's such thick, great quality or what it is, but it is actually difficult to get this in the box without, it feeling like it's like I'm pressing down on the pieces trying to close the box. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually a little bit difficult getting this box to close properly. I don't know, you definitely have to maneuver the pieces around really well for it to be able to close properly. So I don't know if it's a question of the box being slightly too small or something with the bag, because it's not a problem with this one where there's no fabric bag. But anyway, yeah, I do like that the pieces come in a fabric bag. I'm a big fan of that. But obviously, the person I bought this from did decide to keep the fabric bag. So I got a plastic bag. Then here in the bottom you can see there is a poster of the image. Let me see if I can get it out here like this. And I do really love that the poster is as big as it can be without it having to be folded. So I really love a poster that haven't been folded. This way, if you really love the artwork, but you don't necessarily want the entire puzzle framed, you could just frame the poster and don't have any ugly fold lines. It's a really sturdy quality, really lovely quality. You can have it in your hand like this without it like flopping over or anything. Love the size of this poster. There's nothing on the back. So let's just take a quick look at the color difference, if there are any color difference between the box and the puzzle. So as I think I will have mentioned in the intro, the other Reverie puzzle I've done, there were a difference between the box and the poster, and then an even bigger difference to the pieces. So let's just see. At first glance, I don't know, like if I look at the green here, I think it matches, but just looking at the yellow, perhaps the color is a little bit more saturated on the box. But yeah, there is a slight color difference. So these flowers here, I don't know how much the camera will be able to pick it up, but I do think that these flowers here perhaps seem a little bit more like pink, where these seem more beige. So I would say there's a color difference. And yeah, I can also see it here with the green. It's definitely more saturated on the box. So yeah, I really hope that there's not an even bigger difference to the pieces. But let's see. Let me grab the box here. Okay. First, let's just look at the quality. So first off, no paper bagging. Absolutely love that. A big fan. There's also, I can already see some different piece shapes here. I'm almost struggling to find the standard piece shape. Here it is. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of different piece shapes, and they also look really unique in the innies and outies. Different sizes. Also, you can see here if I take two pieces that is the same piece shape type, they are very different in the innies and outies and the overall shape. So that's really nice. It's, I would say, you can focus, standard thickness, seems sturdy. The surface is really matte. I wouldn't call it velvety feeling, but it's just really smooth and yeah, completely matte, no shine whatsoever. I have a big window over on this side here, and there is absolutely no shine on this. So really love that. And this, I can't see any puzzle dust, but again, this is a second-hand puzzle, so there might have been some. I will probably off camera take a look at the new puzzle I have, see if there are any puzzle dust in that. Yeah, the pieces do feel really nice. And let's just see. So again, this is a second-hand puzzle. I don't know how many times it have been put together. It might only have been put together once, but I can't see any damaged pieces. So that is a good sign. Yeah, I really love the overall feel of this quality in these pieces. But let's take a look at possible color differences. So first off, we have here, let's compare with the box first. This is a part of the car, don't exactly know which part, perhaps over here somewhere. Yeah, the box might be a little bit more saturated. Let's look at the green, because the green really was the issue with the other puzzle I had. It's really difficult to tell, you know, just from a single piece. The box might be a little bit more saturated, but at first glance here, it's nothing as drastic as the other one I had. I think the pieces do match the poster quite well. Let's see if this is an edge piece here. Yeah, but then see here with the blue, I think that the poster, it's a little bit more of a purplish blue, where on this it's more of a blue. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it is with the colors. I will say that if there are as big of a color difference as there were with the first one I had, it might not bother me as much, because the overall color of this puzzle is a lot more brighter, where the other one got really dark because of the change in color. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing. But yeah, some places it looks like the color matches, and in some places it looks like it doesn't. And I don't know, that were also my experience with the other one, that some places it weren't really noticeable, and other places it was really noticeable. This looks about the same. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. But at least the quality of the pieces is lovely. Now, as for strategy, so it really varies how much sorting I do up front when I turn over all the pieces of a puzzle. A lot of times I will only do pull out the edge and then sort some things afterwards. I have started more often to sort some sections right at the beginning, and I think I'll do it with this one also. So I think I'll pull out the edge, of course, and then all of these the yellow from the car. Perhaps yeah, this is some of the, I was looking for pieces for the blanket. This I think is the roof of the car, but yeah, some blanket pieces perhaps. Perhaps just actually try and pull out what I can see is the car. So I'll probably pull out these wood pieces here along with the yellow and what I think is the roof of the car. And then perhaps see if I can find that blanket here, perhaps these flowers. And I might also pull out a lot of what will be the sky. I think I might also pull out. Now, since I am filming, I am using my big puzzle board, so I might just make some sorted piles directly on my board. Normally I would use some sorting trays, but yeah, I'm just taking advantage of the fact that I've pulled out my big puzzle board. I don't normally have this big of a board I don't normally use this big of a board, so yeah, if you want to know what kind of puzzle accessories, what kind of sorting trays and stuff like that I use, I do have a video talking about puzzle accessories and what I recommend and what I don't recommend. I'll link it up here. So you can see that. Anyway, this puzzle, looking forward to putting it together. I do really love the colors of this, so I really hope that there's not too big of a difference with the colors like the other one. So yeah, when I have the puzzle the poster here, And the image here, it's definitely more saturated here. You know what? Let's just quickly, before I start on that one, let's just take a look at this one. You see if I can get the poster out here. See, I don't know if I can see a difference here. With this one, I would actually perhaps say that this is more saturated than the box, but it is a tiny, tiny amount. The difference here, I don't think I would think about at all. I think there's a slight difference, but it's only because I'm really looking forward that I can see it. But yeah. With this one, with this though, and that there is a noticeable difference. I hope it's picking up on camera. I might at some point take some actual pictures so I can probably, catch that difference a bit more. I can really see it here. I can really see it here. Anyway, I hope it's not too bad on the pieces, because I really think I'm going to enjoy this image, and I think I'm going to enjoy the quality of these pieces. I mean, as I remember, I really enjoyed the quality of the pieces the last time. I just think that color difference kind of overshadowed everything else. So that's kind of the only thing I remember, at least in detail. Anyway, I'll stop rambling and get to sorting this puzzle, and I'll jump back in when I'm roughly halfway to let you know how my experience will be so far. So this is where I'm at. Besides all of the sky pieces, I've put together everything that I've sorted out at the beginning. Now, the first thing I just want to talk about is the fit of the pieces. So I have noticed that there are some pieces that don't lock together. You can see, for example, here, I'll take some pictures, or I've taken some video of other places where this problem is, so I'll just put them on the screen right now so you can see what I mean. And it's a little bit weird because I don't feel like it's a design choice. So I can't remember what, but there are a brand where they have like some pieces that instead of an innie on outie, there's just a little wave so they don't lock together, and that is a design choice. I don't feel like this is. It's just, the innies and outies just doesn't have enough of a shape to it for them to lock together. So it's a little bit weird and a little bit of a shame, but it's not a big issue. It's just a few places I've noticed it. And besides that, I really love the shape and the fit of these pieces. So you can see that the fit, if I can do this with one hand, you can see here the pieces do hold together really nicely. So I can move sections around, but I still feel like it's going to be very easy to take apart without the pieces being damaged. So it really is only these places where the pieces weirdly don't lock together. Otherwise, I really love it. Really love the way the pieces snap together, how it feels when I put pieces in. And there are a lot of variation in the piece shapes. So I haven't experienced a single false fit, and I can really, in a section like this, where it's just a lot of yellow, I could really look at the piece shapes to help me put it together. Yeah, really love it. Love a piece shape that's not boring, and this definitely isn't boring. And again, the feel of the pieces is just lovely. Now, about the color. So let me just grab the poster here. So, and once I have put together the puzzle, I'll take some pictures because I have a feeling that I can get it to capture the color differences better in a picture than on video. So if you see from the poster to the pieces, I feel like in most places at least, the color really do match, at least with the green, which is where I really had an issue with the other puzzle I did. I feel like with the blue, perhaps the color is more like blue, a little bit more purplish here on the images, but it's like, I feel like there's a little bit of a color difference some places, but not all places. So the yellow also feels like it matches pretty well. Then if I grab the box, there is definitely some color difference in the green colors from the box to the pieces. They are definitely more saturated here, and I think that goes for overall the entire image, but yeah, definitely in the green. Let's see with the sky here, that will probably be a bit easier when I actually start doing the sky. But yeah, I feel like the green pieces, they match from the poster to the puzzle, but the blue pieces don't. And then the blue pieces match a little bit better from the box to the pieces, but the green pieces don't match between the box and the pieces. It's a little bit confusing, and I also don't know if I'm being too critical because I had that bad experience, but I'll talk more about that once I've put the whole puzzle together and I give you my final thoughts. But I'm really enjoying the overall quality of these pieces, and I am really enjoying the image. As you can see, I put together, let me just not throw the whole puzzle on the floor. I've put together most of the car and most of the blanket here. I think all of these sky pieces, some of these pieces are definitely also the windows of the car. I think that will be one of the last things I put together. So now I have this box here with non-sorted pieces, sorry. And I think I'll just go through this. So first of all, here I can see I just spotted a piece. So I think I can go through these and really spot a lot of things for like the rest of the car, the books there. I can spot a lot of the things from the blanket. So I did talk about sorting out these flowers down here at the beginning. I ended up not doing that, but I think I can spot a lot of those now. Spot the flowers down in this corner. So yeah, I'll definitely go through this. See, I can already see one here also. So yeah, I think there's a lot of pieces down here that I can just pull out. So it'll just end up being a lot of green. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this puzzle. Still looking forward to seeing it together, complete, and really taking a look at the color differences, because I don't quite know how I feel about the color differences yet. But again, I'll talk all about it in my final thoughts. And yeah, despite those weird pieces that don't lock together, I really am enjoying the quality of this puzzle and the feel of the pieces and the way they snap together. So let me put together the rest of this puzzle. I am really looking forward to all of those sky pieces there. I think that they are going to be really fun to put together, as I'm sure the rest of the puzzle will also be. Okay, so my thoughts are all over the place with this puzzle. There is a lot of things to love and some things I don't like. First, let's just talk about the image. I really enjoyed putting this image together. I really loved the combination of there being a lot of sortable sections, a lot of small details, and then this whole big section here with the mountains and the sky, which, are just some really beautiful colors to put together. That was a really fun part of the puzzle. Yeah, there really weren't any part of this image I didn't love putting together. A big fan of this image. It really wasn't very difficult. Even up here in the sky, there are a lot of color differences. The mountains, it's more pink here. There are these birds here and the clouds. So yeah, super easy image. Loved putting it together. Now the box, I love the box. I really love the design. It's nice and sturdy. There's all the information you need with the name of the puzzle, the size of the puzzle. Oh, I did check with this little graphic here whether that's a representation of the piece size. So the pieces, there are a lot of variation in the pieces and the size. I think that almost every piece I grabbed and compared with this were slightly bigger. So I don't know, it is roughly the size of the pieces, but I don't know if that was the intent with this graphic to illustrate the size of the pieces. Anyway, you have the size of the finished puzzle, you have a section about the artist, and a lot of information, with the Instagram and the website. Really love the box. Really love that it comes with a fabric bag, but the box size, overall, really love the box size. It really is perfect for the amount of pieces. So perfect that when you add the fabric bag, it is actually a bit too small. So again, I can't really close the bag properly. I don't know how much you can see, but yeah, it really doesn't want to close properly, and I do feel like I'm pressing down on the pieces. So I would recommend them either to make the boxes a little bit bigger, which is really weird for me because I do love a small box, but either making the box, I think it's just a tiny bit bigger, or to drop the fabric bag, perhaps go for a resealable plastic bag. But yeah, I don't know, it's a bit weird for me because I do like the size of the box that it isn't too big, and we really do love the fact that there's a fabric bag, but it just doesn't really fit. But overall, I really enjoy the box, and it is a small thing. Now, the overall quality of the pieces is amazing. They're sturdy. I had one damaged piece. I'll put up a video I think I took of it. And again, this is a second-hand puzzle. I don't know how many times it's been put together. I don't know if that piece was damaged from the beginning, but still, one damaged piece in a second-hand puzzle I think is really great. Really shows that these pieces are sturdy and do, hold up. So yeah, really lovely pieces. The thickness is average, but as I said, really sturdy. Loved the feel of the piece. They're not velvet. I personally love a velvet feel. I know some people don't. These are not velvet, but they are super smooth and nice to the touch. Completely matte. You won't have any issue with glare on this. Really loved it. I really loved the feel of the pieces when I put them in, like the snap or whatever you want to call it. It just felt really great. And the fit of them was really nice, so I could move sections. It wasn't too loose, but I haven't taken the puzzle apart yet, but I'm sure I will be able to take it apart without damaging any pieces. Really a perfect fit. Except those weird pieces that didn't lock together. And as I mentioned, it didn't feel like a design choice. It wasn't like as I mentioned, those pieces where one of the knobs is just a little wave. So it really felt like, I know, kind of a lazy design in some places, that the knobs didn't have enough shape to them for them to lock together. It's not a big issue. But I did, at least with the edge pieces as well, it was a little bit annoying that if I had to shift the puzzle around a bit, they came apart. And again, yeah, there's some few places where it did annoy me a little bit, but not a huge problem. In no way a deal breaker for me, but yeah, a little bit weird most of all. But overall, the shape of the pieces, I really did enjoy. There were a lot of variation. I could really use the piece shapes if I had sections with more solid colors, like some places in the car and in the sky. I could, really use the shape of the pieces, the shape of the knobs. So, yeah, I had a great experience with the quality. Now, puzzle dust. This was a second-hand puzzle. I didn't have any puzzle dust, but yeah, it's obviously been used before, so I can't really say anything about puzzle dust with that. I did check the other new puzzle I have. I poured out all of the pieces into the box. There was some puzzle dust stuck to the inside of the bag, and there were a little bit of puzzle dust also, like in the bottom of the box, but really nothing big. I don't think I would have thought about it at all. I am also not one who is very bothered by puzzle dust. I did have a comment with someone saying that they didn't like the puzzle dust or the amount of puzzle dust. I can't remember right now. So yeah, I just don't feel like I can really talk about the puzzle dust. At least it's not really excessive. It's in nowhere near Ravensburger amount of puzzle dust. But now to the big thing, the thing I really focused on in this review, and it's the color differences. So, it's nowhere near as bad as the color differences I had with my first puzzle I did. Nowhere near. But it is definitely there. At least in the green colors. So, I don't think there were too much in the blue or in the yellow. These flowers down here, a tiny bit of difference, but there was, I think, a big difference, a noticeable difference with the green pieces. So I'll put up some images to show it a bit better. I do feel like where the first one I did, there was a noticeable difference between the box and the poster, and then an even more difference to the pieces. With this one, I felt like the pieces didn't match the poster quite well, so it really was just the box, and I don't quite know how to feel about it. I don't know if I am being too critical because I had that really bad experience. It's difficult for me to say how much I would have noticed this or how much I would have been bothered by this if this had been my first Reverie puzzle. But yeah, I do think it's really noticeable in the green. I really think it's a shame. Again, it didn't ruin my experience in the same way as the first one did. I did still really enjoy this puzzle. Also, there is a lot of green on this puzzle, but it's, still only parts of the puzzle, where the first one, almost in the entire image, was green. So it also really changed the overall, changed the artwork actually. But I have a hard time with it and a hard time judging how critical I should be of it. I did pull out some pieces and really try to compare the colors in this puzzle. And even with the green on this, I couldn't really tell a difference in colors with this one. So, I don't know. Was the first one I did just a dot? I would say the amount of color differences in that was extreme. And I don't think that it's a general issue with the puzzles having that extreme of a color difference. But it just seems like it will be very inconsistent with this brand. Now again, bear in mind, I have only 3 puzzles to look at, only done 2 puzzles from the brand. So yeah, it is difficult to say anything about whether it's going to be an issue with most of the puzzles, but it just feels like it is rather inconsistent. So it's also not like I can say there will always be a slight color difference with the puzzles. I'm not sure there will. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. In conclusion, there were noticeable difference, but not as big of a difference as the first puzzle I did, and not so big of a difference that it really impacted my enjoyment of the puzzle. But let's move on from that. Let's take a look at their website and see what other puzzles they offer. So what I think is both a positive and a negative thing with the images is that they do have a very unique style. Most of the puzzles have this very, I don't quite know how to explain it, but romantic, idyllic, often a bit like pastel-y, if that's a word, look to them. So I can't say that everyone can find a Reverie puzzle, a Reverie image they love. I don't think this brand is for everyone. But I do respect that they have an aesthetic, they have a theme, they really do have a brand identity. Is that what you call it? So I really do respect that. They don't have a whole bunch of images that I would love. That very romantic style isn't really me, but there are some I really love. Like the one I did now, I really did enjoy, and there are some that are on my wish list. I'll put up some images here of my favorites from the website. A lot of the puzzles are in portrait mode, and this is just a personal preference for me. It's not a deal breaker for me yet. It is slowly turning into one. I have to be extra in love with the image for me to buy a puzzle where the image is in portrait mode, but they do also have a lot of puzzles in landscape format mode, whatever you call it. So I really think that's great that there are some variation there. They also have, I think they have a single 1500 piece puzzle. They have some 500 piece puzzles. They've made some advent calendars, so that there are different types of puzzles on their website. Now, do I recommend these puzzles? And for me to talk about that, we have to look at the price. So the Reverie puzzles in Denmark costs 350 Danish kroners. So that's about 46 euros and 76 Australian dollars. That is a lot of money for a cardboard puzzle. But I think to really judge the price of these puzzles, we have to look at the price on their website in Australian dollars. Because when I go to their website, it does automatically show me the prices in Danish kroners. But I want to see what the brand have set their prices for in their currency in Australian dollars. Because there they are a lot cheaper than in Denmark, and also cheaper than if I look on the website in Danish kroners. So on the website, the 1000 piece puzzles costs 54.99 Australian dollars. So that's about 33 euros and 250 Danish kroners, where in Denmark they cost 350 Danish kroners. So a lot cheaper than I can buy them for here in Denmark. And I think that's natural that they do like puzzles that have to be shipped from Australia to Denmark, and with the differences in VAT and all of that they do get more expensive. And with that Australian price, the about 55 Australian dollars, I think that's a fair price. That's it's a more expensive brand. It's right at that point where I feel like good quality can justify the price. It's the same price as Ebu puzzles, for example, in Denmark. It's the same price for the penny puzzles in Denmark. So yeah, I think that's it's not cheap puzzles, but I think it's a fair price. And I do think they're worth it. Now, for shipping. So if you buy from their website and it's shipping to the EU, the shipping is between 35 and 80 Australian dollars, depending on how much you buy. So it does get more and more expensive, but it is a max of 80 Australian dollars and a minimum of 35. And that is a lot for shipping. And this is no fault for the brand. I know they don't have control over that, but it's a lot of money. And I also think that does explain why they are so much more expensive here in Denmark, the puzzles. But if you buy for under 150 Australian dollars, it does include the taxes and VAT and all of that. So the price you see is the price you're paying. I think that also explains why on the website, the prices in Danish kroner is more expensive than when you look at the prices in Australian dollars. I haven't looked at the prices for all of the other countries, and I will put up some images here of what shipping costs to different parts of the world. You can pause if you want to read that. But yeah, back again to, do I recommend these puzzles? Yes, if you can get them at that 54 Australian dollars price, and if you can accept that there might be a slight color difference between what you see on the box and the pieces. But if they are more expensive where you are, for example, that 350 Danish kroners it costs here, no, I don't recommend them. I don't think they're worth that. Honestly, I don't know what cardboard puzzle would be worth that. It would have to be a really special puzzle to be worth that. That is a lot of money for a cardboard puzzle. So it really does depend on how much a slight color difference would annoy you and what the puzzles cost where you are. So I do realize that this might be a bit confusing. I can't really give you a clear answer on if I recommend them or if they're worth the price, but I do hope that with this review, you have enough information that you can make a judgment for yourself whether these puzzles are some that you want to do and what you would want to pay for them. I am definitely more inclined now to try more Reverie puzzles than I were after the first one I tried. I definitely don't recommend that specific image. I don't know if it was an issue with my specific puzzle, but I wouldn't risk it with that image. I really wouldn't risk it with that image. I'm putting it up here again so you can be reminded of what puzzle that was, what image that was. I don't recommend that one. I definitely recommend the one I just did. And also, again, with price. So the first puzzle I did, I got that because I had a gift card to that store. So I kind of felt like I didn't pay any money for it. As I said, the other one I haven't done yet. I did get in a surprise box. So also got that really cheap along with a lot of other puzzles. And the one I did in this video, I did buy secondhand. And I am glad I haven't paid full price for them, the price they are in Denmark. Again, yeah, that is expensive, but the price they're asking for them in Australia on their own website, I think is fair. So yeah, I feel like I have to stop rambling now, and I really hope that, yeah, you can make your own judgment on whether these puzzles are worth it and whether you want to risk that color difference that there might be. And I really want to know from you, if you have tried Reverie Puzzle, whether there have been any color difference in your puzzles you have tried. I really would love to hear from you if you've tried their puzzles. And so, that was it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing. See you next time.